happened in 1994. You remember the whole, we were all of us in this room are, you know, the radical conservative looking for free markets that work, limited government, and we said, please give me a voice. Give me a voice somewhere in D.C. that makes me feel good about politicians again. Because you know how we all do. We look at them and think they're all bad. Every now and then, there's a voice that sticks out. And we were so lucky then, as we are now, to find that voice in Dick Armey, who was a majority leader then, who helped bring about the Contract for America, and is now in charge of FreedomWorks, which is expanding freedom and liberty. I don't need to say anything else. Dick Armey.
Dick Armey, and I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I love El Paso.
Yeah.
Who's from El Paso?
Nate, right here.
Kinky Friedman wrote a song about your town. If you heard it. We can't talk about it here.
They say wherever there's greatness, there's Texas.
We can't talk about Kinky Friedman's songwriting to your Virginian ears. Anyway, enough of this. First of all, let me appreciate y'all. What a great crowd. Look, I want to say hello, Mr. and Mrs. Grassroots America. You're real. You're here.
Thank you.
And I have admired the grassroots movement since my own election in 1984. I don't know how many you wouldn't know this, but when I ran for Congress in 1984, absolutely every member of the Republican establishment advised me not to run because I couldn't win. And in the process of winning this race, I recruited at their doorsteps 1,600 volunteers. They in turn went out and marched for me. And if you've ever seen a Texas summer, their attitude was, if this guy can walk all day and knock on doors in July and August, I can do it for 2 days in October. And we coined the first Army's axiom about campaigns in that race: hard work beats daddy's money. Real people who really care, who really show up, will make the difference. Now what we have today, all of the energy that I find in America today around public policy and governance is energy that is coming from people who believe in the American Constitution as the most marvelous act of entrepreneurial genius for liberty and freedom in the history of the world. And you don't know that, Virginia. You understand that individuals working for themselves and their family, free to make transactions on their own terms with other people doing the same, will always get you the best economic results. And governments should understand that liberty is a gift given to mankind and mankind alone by the Lord God Almighty, and it is the duty of government to protect your liberty. That is the first duty of government. And that we're tired of the big spending, irresponsible ways of Washington, where their first objective seems to go no further than to grow in their own dominion over your lives and the lives of your grandchildren. And you take a look, I'm laughing at today, if you want to see a laboratory of what America is thinking today, look at the New York 23rd District, that special election. The Democrats are demoralized and confused. All they've got is an acute case of buyer's remorse. We're sitting there saying we were promised change we can believe in, and what we've got is scaring us half to death. And I have been talking to Democrats. Just 2 days ago, I had 2 very prominent Democrats in Washington, D.C. who said they voted for the Republican in the Virginia governor's race, and I said, why would you do that? And they said, because Obama's scaring us to death. And so the Democrats are confused, and they're wondering, did we make a grand mistake? These people don't seem to know any bounds, don't understand the limits of big government, think they've discovered the money tree, and just go on and on and on. The Republicans are still trying to figure out who they are. They've had more identity crises in the last 5 years than the average high school sophomore.
I think they're getting the picture.
And I think they're getting the picture, and the reason they're getting the picture, and you're seeing it in New York, the Republican Establishment Party nominated a candidate who was seen by the voters across that district as nothing but Democrat light.
Yeah.
And they rejected her immediately.
Yeah.
That Republican lost that race the moment she was nominated.
Yeah.
And then the conventional conservative party that's been in New York for years nominated their guy. And immediately from day one, he has risen in the polls, while the Republican and the Democrat have dropped in the polls. Why? Because the Republicans and the Democrats have no energy. They don't have people willing to show up and work for their candidates. The energy is with the independent, liberty-loving, small government conservatives like us.
Yeah.
Now here's the deal. Watch the behavior and the reaction to you and me that comes from the Republican, or the establishment, the office holders. When last April 15th, we all showed up all across the country with our first round of Tea Party activism. What did they say? Well, you're not real. You'll go away. You won't be back. You know, you were just organized by some guy in Washington. They never could understand who you were, where you came from, how you got there on your own terms, at your own initiative, to make your voice heard, and they discounted you and dismissed you. Then in August, what happened? First of all, let me say Nancy Pelosi made a clearly strange decision. Armey's axiom is, if you want to peddle a bum steer, keep it under wraps. What she did is let her committees report out that bill just before the August recess, and dang, the people didn't start reading it. Not congressmen, but real people. And then they started, and when they started reading it, I started getting emails from my friends. I was home tending to 2 sick goats. I thought I was going to have a nice quiet August, and I was going to get these 2 goats back up on their feet.